so much easier to slip into a character if you have the right look and set. But then you're wearing like this skin tight, like it's almost like a wetsuit.
It's like a wetsuit.
Yeah. And then there's this weird camera like right in your face, and then it's like
a helmet.
This slant helmet, and there's this little dial right here, and they like there's this dude that comes around constantly like, "Are you okay? Let me tighten that." You just tighten it up a little bit more. It's too tight, and like cutting off circulation.
And then you have like all these the Velcro,
and then like the balls everywhere, and then you're talking to this other actor, and he looks ridiculous in his little suit, but you're supposed to take it really serious and be in the moment. That's the most challenging part about working on a game is not having a costume or a proper set. I mean, even
it's like a huge room, like half the size of this, with just a bunch of cameras and a mat.
Yeah, and like all your
some
props.
People behind a desk.
Yeah, all your props are kind of like, they don't look real, they look kind of fakey, so you have to do a lot of imagining. You really use your imagination to get into it on the set. So that was really difficult. But yeah, that's basically, I hope I answered that. Okay.
You're in the pink. I don't know, like, it's weird because it's like I'll do some, like as an actor, I'll do something and then it's done and then I'm like, delete, like I sort of like, okay, on to the next thing, or on to the next scene, or on to the memorizing the next lines. But one scene that I know, people really like, and I appreciate that they like it because it was a lot of fun to shoot, was in Hemlock Grove when I eat a worm and then I get possessed. Everyone seems to love that. So, and it was really, really fun. Like when I read it, I was like, this is gonna be a lot of fun to shoot. And I had like the big black contacts, to make myself look possessed. And then I puked at the end. And I always seem to be puking for some reason in shows. But yeah, but that's like a scene that I know I'll always remember and always like look back on fondly because I know like other people really like it too, and people remember me and ask me questions about it all the time, and about the worm and if it was real. And I actually had to do tests. Like they made me come into the special effects place and they made these gummy worms, like different sizes, because the director really wanted me to just swallow it in one take. Like I didn't get to chew it for some reason. And so I had to do like a test, and they gave me these huge worms. I was like, you want me to swallow that whole? Like, does anybody here know the Hemlock maneuver? Because I'm probably gonna choke. But they ended up whittling it down to like a good size, and yeah, it was gummy. And the blood that I was taking it out of tasted like strawberries. So.
I think Assassin's Creed 3, the most memorable moment for me was, there was a scene that we were trying to work out. Me and the director, we couldn't get the right writing for it. It just didn't make any sense. It was really talking and wordy. And basically, we were talking about her, and Hatham comes in, and he's like, "Hey, how's your mom doing?" And she had been murdered by somebody, and it was basically Hatham's fault in a way. And so me and Dave reworked that scene, and we came up with dialogue on our own, and that was I mean, like he asked me, "How's my mom?" And I was like, you're asking about my mom, and you don't know that you're basically responsible for her death. So we kind of made it up, and that was the most heartfelt scene that I had with Hatham. Other movies, I guess, I don't know. It's a weird question. It's like she said, you kind of delete, like you.
I think the one where like in Assassin's Creed, like when I watched it, like I watched my nephew play it. I was like, I don't know how to play games. But was when she burns, like when she dies, basically. That was like really
when that
like.
little kid was screaming,
yeah.
And like they're trying to pick the
and he's
wood
like,
up.
Easter!
And he's saying
yeah, that means
Mohawk.
mom. Yeah,
Yeah, that
so
was really
sad.
sad.
That's like really heart wrenching. So that was a good one.
It was yeah. You know.
Like, what do you mean, like my nephew? It was pretty surreal. Yeah, it was weird. And then my sister came downstairs and she was like, "Oh my God, this is so weird." And then like, she's like, "Listen to your auntie," you know, because I'm like giving. Yeah, it was super weird. But it was so cool that it was like, they decided to do it on like my people. Like that was really, really cool. And I know like like you felt honored, you know? Like my cousin did all the translating for the whole game, and he was also in there in the studio helping people pronounce the words. My other very good cousin played the clan mother, so it was like, it was really cool. Yeah, it was really, really cool. Like, what other project do you get to do that on, you know? And especially something so huge. Like, okay, I'm really not into gaming because I didn't really grow up with it, so I'm like kind of like duh when it comes to that. But when we were doing the mocap, I was like, so like, you know, you guys, like, how do you feel? Like, is this gonna be like big, or you know, how do you feel about the project? And they're like, this is gonna be huge. And I was like, oh really? Awesome, you know? And then I had no idea how big this game was, so it was really fun to figure that out.
When I see or have family members or play the character, usually they have a lot of fun with making me die in weird ways. Like they want to drop me off a cliff or burn me or something. So I have a feeling that a lot of people get off on that. That I know, like, kill them or put them in there. But I know as far as like other people playing the game around me, usually when I tell somebody that I'm in it or they see that, they're really very surprised and also supportive and nice about it. Like, wow, this is really amazing, because it is a big game. So, and like she said, it's the first time that natives have really been in such a big part of a giant AAA video game. And to have that's just a big win for natives all over the country, or all over the world. Just that we're finally getting up there in the image of the.
And they were really detailed, yeah. Like on the costume and the language. Like they would come to the cultural center on my reserve and talk with people, and it was really, because usually, like as a native person, like you hear somebody is going to be making a movie or a project, and you're like, oh, you know, like what are they going to do?
Where's the flute music?
Yeah, like you know, let's see what happens. And then, but this one, they really, really like tried to pay attention to like every little detail. Like the costumes, like my character's costume is freaking amazing, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That was the only time that it happened. That's why I said it was special, is because most of the time they were very sticklers on all of their writing. One thing I did change was all of the contractions that was given to Connor. There was a lot of can'ts, shouldn't, wouldn't, a lot of that. And I thought, since he doesn't really speak English very well, most people that when they're learning the language, they try to speak correctly. They try to do it like I will not, I should not. So I had them change all of that, but in terms of all of like the content, that's the only scene that I got to mess with was the one that I said before. So they're very, very hard-nosed about what goes into that game, and there's a bunch of people up there that are watching to make sure that you don't change it, because we're paying the bills. So do what I say. Like gameplay-wise, I think that AC2 was one of the ones that stood out for me because of going through all of the city, and it was beautiful, and the time period. I like Altair as the assassin better. I think that he is a little bit more closer to what I think an assassin would be, very, very cold-blooded and just kind of, you know, a stealth killer. I think Brotherhood was good because of the addition of the multiplayer, because now you have this insane game of hide and seek where you kill somebody at the end, which is pretty fun. And the flag game, capture the flag game, the new multiplayer modes are a big plus for Brotherhood. But I think 2 had the best, you know, aside from 3, because we all know that 3 was the best.
Right? Right? No.
Yeah. But I like 2 a lot.
You.
Yes, ironically here in the United States, in November, they've had Native American month. And in that month, they show independent movies for Native Americans in them. If ever given a chance, would you be willing to do, Noah, you said you'd like to do more of a modern movie or whatever. Given a chance, would you be willing to do a contemporary movie about natives being in Canada or in the United States?
Almost definitely. Most all the movies I've done have been contemporary natives. This is really one of the first period pieces I've done.
Yeah. This is the only period piece I can do. Like, look at me. I actually get cast as a native person. Like maybe half of, or like a third of my resume is like actually playing like native characters. Not really ever period pieces because, like I said, like I don't look.
You have that wind in your hair the right way. It's not...
I don't wake up with my hair braided. But yeah, that like this is the chance that I got to do like a period piece, and that's because they made my likeness darker.
I would rather do contemporary pieces. I would rather talk about natives and what's going on with them today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's going on in the communities, not just the problems that are happening, but also the beauty behind it, because it's all of that.
Well, there's so much beauty, and there's like people get stuck in the stereotypes and the alcoholics or the this and that, and like or residential schools, like really like heavy stuff. And we also have like a really good sense of humor. Like if you watch my short film, it's about working in a cigarette store on my reserve, and like I'm native. I didn't like set out to make a native movie. It just happens like that's where I'm from, and the story that I wrote takes place on my like something that I know that I grew up doing. I worked in a cigarette shack, literally like a shack, selling cigarettes, and yeah, like there's so much we have to see more movies and more projects like like mine. No, I'm just kidding. No, but more like the positive stuff, you know, because there's like something weird and like sick about wanting to see like all. I understand that it's sort of, anyways, whatever. I'm going off on a tangent, but yeah, more positive contemporary stuff I would like to see.
I like that. I mean, but at the same time, I also think that it's important not to hide from those issues. And I ran into that when I was working on a movie in South Dakota called Skins, and it was about alcoholism on the res. And a lot of local Lakotas were a little upset that we were doing that movie there because it was said they were shining a bad light on Indians. And I think that if you don't shine the truth, like you have to show that. So we need to see that stuff, but we don't need to see only that. We have to have a kind of nice balance about everything, because on the whole, people are the same all over the place. We all have these problems like this. People have addictions and problems this way and that way, and then we also have beauty in our family as well. So I think we just need to see more of that.